Evening, folks. So I've been having a bit of a play around today with one of the Plague Paladins from the Darkwater box set. Got those complete, and they've been sort of sat while I've been working on the Imperial Fists, Terminators, and just in the background the Infernus Marines. So yesterday, some of you might know if you've seen the video already, I popped on to one of our new local hobby shops, which is Hemel Wargame. It's open in Hemel Hempstead, and picked up. They've got lots of range of different paints, which is great because so few stockists have those locally. So we've got two different types of rust. We've got this kind of dark rust from Vallejo, which is one of their technical special effects paints, and this Vallejo galvanic corrosion, which is like a kind of a medium rust, kind of a recent sort of still damp rust. So I've given those a go on this model here, along with some standard nickel oxide for the essentially what is third degree from Citadel Games Workshop. And you can hopefully see that I've done a bit of streaking. In fact, let's just see if we can zoom into that. Lovely. So a little bit of streaking and rust effects. You can see on I've obviously done green armour, it's been gently highlighted, and there's some lovely rust streaks, lots of rust on the chainmail as well at the back and the front. So that's all very cool. Looks pretty good, pretty happy with that. However, I want to take it a little bit of a stage further. So on my palette, I've got both those two rust colours. Let's get that back out of touch. So we've got the two Vallejo rusts, and I've stuck on some sort of standard Ryza Rust from GW as well. Okay, they will always be GW with me, not Warhammer. Warhammer is a game system. Anyway, so what I'm going to do here is just add a little bit extra of this into the very top of the chainmail, just so we get a bit more, because it looks really good, but it looks like quite old rust. I just want a little bit more going on. That's quite a bit. Let's just work it in slightly. Okay, now this will dry darker. All paints look lighter when they're wet. Okay, when they're moist. So it will dry darker than it looks currently. Now the Ryza Rust, I'm not sure if it's just my kind of old pot I've had for ages. It is almost like a kind of an old school dry brush pot paint, so it's almost hard. You pick it out and then kind of water it down. Okay, let's work it a little bit more. Okay, so just want that right a bit more to the rust there, and that should give us hopefully quite a cool look. So again, just work with that a little bit more. Now I've been using some of these new Taklon brushes. These are the Montmartre brushes. So maybe want to be a bit careful, because all these paints have got a little bit of text to them, a bit like typhus corrosion if you used that before. So they probably will knack your brushes essentially with overuse. Cool, so that's all looking pretty good. Now I don't overdo it, just enough that we get this sort of sense of the rust refreshing all the time. There's Papa Nurgle is always causing decay, even with his more exalted minions. Now hopefully what you can see on the double axes, I've really hammered those. Now I am going to do a bit of I'm going to not glaze, but I'm going to water down, try and feather some of that. I've been quite hard handed, just kind of got involved and got that on both the axes there. However, same thing, so we've got those two shades, that dark rust and then that medium rust, and then we're just going to add a few points in here. And I'm not being too careful about this. Just a few points we've got, just completely fresh rust with that Ryza Rust colour. And what I do want to do is make sure that this is at the point of, what should we call it, rust birth, where the corrosion's occurring. Yep, so it's the point where the corrosion's happening, so it's kind of, as it seeps out, it becomes darker, and at the point where it starts, it's at its lightest, just like in real life. So let's stick some of that on there. You can see that there as well. Cool, so Give that a try. Don't overdo it. It's, you know, it's really tempting to go, just keep going, going. What I do like to do, you know, like most of you, I work with some pretty powerful lights in my work area. I think it's a good idea to take the model away from those and just sit it in natural light and see how it looks. Particularly if you're thinking about tabletop. Now, if you're doing your work purely for display, so it's in a display case, it's going to be well lit. But if you're putting your models on a tabletop, then you probably want to go a shade lighter and a shade darker, so that things pop that a little bit more, okay? Because you want them to stand out from a distance, rather than being something that you have to really work at, okay? And look in too much detail. So cool, there we go. Just this one of those things where I could probably just keep working into this model forever and a day. So I need to be disciplined. There we go. It's a new phrase for me. A bit disciplined there. Cool. Let's just get a bit more of that. Let's get some more spots of really nice fresh rust there. I mean, it does. I've got to say, it does look pretty good already. So it should be quite good fun. I might, apart from the feathering that I'll do a little bit later, just to make sure there's a blend. I might do a gentle dry brush with silver, just to get that back, and maybe on the edges a few sort of striations. And what I won't do, where we've got our dents and nooks, I might put a little bit of sort of rust effect in these, but I won't do any verdigris there, because obviously verdigris only happens we have copper or brass. Brass has got copper in it, so you should always keep that in mind, otherwise things will look a little bit unnatural. Okay, so cool. So we've got more to do. I can't remember this dude's name, but this dude is one of the two that turn up on the internet a lot. He is an absolutely outstanding model. He'll be left till last until I've really refined that technique. And I've got a nice idea for the little turning sigil on his arm as well. Cool. Okay, so let's do a bit of a close-up work on the Nurgle Paladins. Nothing much more exciting than doing a little bit of weathering. As you can tell from my Jack Russell barking away happily in the background. See you soon. Bye.